Good evening. Good evening. So, if you can hear me, I would like for you to just open your microphones just for a second so that I know who is here. And if you have the opportunity to speak using the microphones, I just want to make sure that I have the settings correct.
Hi, Bodine. Good evening, everyone. This is Candiria.
Hi, Candiria. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Bodine. This
Hi.
Nelson.
Hi, Nelson. Welcome, welcome. Y'all are in my home. Welcome to Titta Talks. I'm
Sally is
so
also with him.
hey, girl, hey. I'm so excited. Y'all actually listen, when you say time management, I mean y'all were here. Y'all were here and y'all were ready.
At least I actually made it to this Tuesday because,
Okay, you know what? That's a really great thing, and it just brings me so much joy because some people have been saying that they wanted the Thursday because the Thursday would have just been a bit more convenient, and I'm considering maybe doing a Thursday depending on whether or not one of my other obligations actually comes through. Okay, so I'm just really happy that you all trust me and that you're taking the time out to spend it here with me on a Tuesday afternoon. And of course, for those of you who do not know, I mean, I'm assuming that many of you know, but I'm just going to give everybody another 3 or 4 minutes to make it into the room. And then I'm going to do my official introductions. And then we're going to get into what we're going to be doing for the day. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. And the etiquette level is really up here right now because the microphones are off, the cameras are off, but I'm seeing some profile photos and it just brings me so much joy at the moment. All right. And so, more people are here. I'm adding. Now, I just want to say that you all are very encouraging to me. And I want to begin by also saying that it is such a pleasure to be here in a space where I'm able to give back in this particular way as a woman. Wow, I have to say that I'm a woman. That's crazy. And when I say that, it's because I constantly think of myself as that 19, 20-year-old young woman who was just a fledgling and getting into college and starting teaching. And I constantly see myself as that way. But I am realizing that I've moved into a different space in my womanhood where I've acquired a number of different skills that I monetize on a regular basis that I also use for the benefit of the community, but also to assist myself, which is, I assume, part of the reason why you all are here with me tonight and just willing and ready to share some of the information that I have, which I sometimes charge people for, but not tonight. And so we are currently taking a look at the screen, and we're going to get into a little bit of the Titta Talks for today. I am BodineVictoria Johnson, a singer-songwriter, but I prefer to use the term entertainer, entrepreneur, and educator who resides obviously in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I have 20 years of experience in broadcasting and journalism. I have 20 years experience in education, and I have over 20 years experience in entertainment in particular. I have certificates from Synergy Bahamas, and I've had them since 2014 in business management. In addition to, I am one of the top 5 finishers in the SBDC and the US Embassy's Women's Accelerator Program. Well, they had the pitch competition. And so I actually ended up in the top 5 of those. And I've also managed to get very close in terms of VAT to having to to having to pay VAT and request VAT on my invoices as an employed woman, a self-employed woman with a regular day job in education, but also a woman who runs a number of small businesses. My businesses are in the arts and entertainment as a performer, but I also do educational work by providing trainings in particular areas and sections. And I also work for the Ministry of Education during the day. And you all see that I do influencer work, but I prefer not to call it influencer work. I prefer to say that I use my influence to assist small and corporate businesses with presenting their branding information to the public and converting to sales for different areas such as finance and investments, in addition to female-led causes and a number of other areas. So if you know me from any of those areas, you know it kind of gets extremely busy, which means that I have to be very intentional about how I manage my time. So I want us to get to the start of it. So here's our live stream courtesies. The first of which is that cameras are nice, but if you are driving, y'all please don't put your camera on while you're driving. Moving or unsettled, I'd like for you to please keep your cameras off as it can be distracting for other persons. In addition to that, I'd love to hear from you. Wow, HERE, but please keep your microphones off during the conversation. And 3, raise your hand to join the conversation. I'm always, as an educator, willing to hear what you want to say. And finally, please put questions in the chat, all right? Now, we're going to get directly into it. And if you don't have one right now, if you could get a pen and a piece of paper, that would be extremely helpful because I do want this to be interactive. And again, if you have any questions, I'm going to ask that you place them in the chat, but also that you let me know so that I can, address them. So while you're getting your pen and paper, I want to say hello again to Candiria and to Avandi. Delethea, welcome, welcome. And Delethea is really constantly busy as well. I also want to say hello to all of the other persons that are currently in the chat. Okay, so if you have your pen and paper and you're able to touch your reactions, just, give me a thumbs up or any other emoji that you are comfortable with so we can get this show on the road. Oh, also, let me just take my photo for social media purposes. I see your thumbs up, Candiria. Thank you so kindly. All right, Nelson, I see you, Davina, sorry. All right, great. Fantastic. Okay, so the first thing is to understand your purpose, okay? Now, I know this may seem a little bit cliche, but to be very, very honest with you, I think that a lot of the confusion that we have in terms of the way that we manage our time is a result of not fully appreciating the purpose that is in our lives. And I'm just going to say it straight out. I know some people on the call may not be, but I am very much a Christian and I believe in Christian principles and I am in a place where I am practicing them consistently. I also believe that in general, just as a human being, the idea of purpose gives us more of a direction on what we should be doing and when we should be doing it. It also assists us with developing our natural or innate skills so that we are able to produce the most with the least amount of stress, okay? And so from that perspective, I want to say that understanding your purpose is an excellent way to focus your efforts. There are some of us that are going from, like my Grammy say, from pillar to post or running around like chicken without our heads attached to our bodies. And it's simply because we do not understand that when you have a set purpose for your life, all of your actions and activities are going to be associated with that purpose. The way that you stored your time will be associated with that purpose. In addition to that, the things that you do to help develop the skills that you have naturally will be facilitated and easier because you are in alignment with that purpose. Finally, when you are in a space where your efforts are focused and your skills are intentionally developed, you become introduced to the right group of people. okay? The right network of people. And that network of people provides additional hands for the work that you are set to do. I think that this is the most practical set of advice that I can give you right now. So the question that I have for you right now, because I don't want to pry, but I want you to really take a good introspective look at yourself. And I want you to answer the question, do I know what my purpose is? If the answer to that question is yes, then I want you to write down what your purpose is. I understand my purpose. My purpose in life is to provide experiences that motivate and empower small communities so that they can make global impact. Okay? I think that's the best way for me to summarize it. It is a bit vague, but it's because of the number of things that I am capable to do or capable of doing or the number of places I have influence in that allows me to have this level of access. Okay? All right. And so if you have written that down and you want to share what your purpose is, then feel free to, raise your hand and then I'll acknowledge you and then you can open your mic and then you can share. There is no obligation to do so, but I also just don't want to be the only one talking in this conversation because it's a conversation. So that requires back and forth. Okay. And if that's okay, then, well, if you don't want to share, that's okay. But if you do want to share, then the hand raise will give me the opportunity. I know it is a very, very deep question for quite a number of people because, again, being unclear about your purpose makes it difficult for you to manage your time. And I'm going to tell you why in the next slide. Okay. When you don't understand your purpose, what ends up happening is it makes it difficult for you to focus on your priorities. For example, I knew I wanted to be an educator. To be an educator in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I know I needed to go to college, but I also knew that I wanted to be in entertainment. So I intentionally looked at opportunities that would give me access to a microphone and ended up at Carter Marketing and Island FM working with Sir Charles Carter, which is where I learned skills in broadcasting. Okay. And from there, I was able to transition that into television hosting, television, believe it or not, production. I am also a script writer. And so my priorities lied in developing my English skills, my eye contact skills with the camera, my ability to speak on the fly, my ability to relay information in an intentional and thoughtful way, and sometimes concise. So your priorities determine your actions. Your actions are anything that you do, and those actions take time. I'm quite sure that you can agree with me on that. The next thing that focusing on your priorities shows you is behaviors that are counterproductive, okay? Priorities and knowing your purpose shows you the behaviors that are counterproductive. My counterproductive behavior happens to be procrastination, okay? My counterproductive behavior is procrastination. And when I say that, I say procrastination happens to be the bane of my existence. It's because sometimes I cannot keep my eye on the thing that I need to do. And thank you, Delethea. And to be very honest, sometimes it's not because I want to be distracted. It's just because my brain has decided that this task may be just a little bit too complicated for me right now. So I need to wait until the last minute to do it so I could get enough motivation and a high. I should also disclose that I am a person with ADHD. The funny thing is, my friends clocked it when I first started teaching and I didn't accept it. But now I understand that it's not an impediment. It's just that I have to be more intentional about how I behave when I have work to do. So no, I cannot pick up my cell phone and begin to edit a video for social media that is not important when my client has work that they have a deadline for that I must reach, because I understand that if I wait too late to complete that, I'm going to be set behind, and I'm going to miss some of the things that help me to keep my mood boosted, and the things that make me feel good, as well as the things that make me more productive than I would be under other circumstances. I'm going to simplify that. When I procrastinate, it means that I have to push something important further down the line. And that means that I'm not able to optimize my time. It means that I am kind of stealing time from the assignment of the moment to enjoy something that is frivolous right now. It is a sign that I don't know how to delay gratification. I know that's a little bit harsh, but that's the truth of the matter. You are choosing to do something that is not beneficial in that time. So when I see that I am, yeah, yeah, Candiria, it rough. It is be rough on this side. So when we see that these behaviors are counterproductive, when you see that you are avoiding a task because it feels so big, the first tip that I want to give you is I want you to think about, why do I feel like this task is just so immense? And then which small aspect of this task can I begin that will lead me to be more motivated to complete it within the time assigned? I constantly break big tasks into micro tasks. Micro tasks mean that if I complete one, well, it's cheaper. I just go and complete step 2. Okay. So I think that one of the things that you may find beneficial when you decide that this behavior, procrastination, which is the example, is counterproductive, is, why am I avoiding it? That's the first question. And then what can I do to help motivate me to complete it, other than spend money online or go to sleep? Because we like to sleep. Okay. Then we have the focus on your priority helps to mitigate the temptation to act out of impulse, desperation, and then a lack of vision. Now, the reason why I call this Titta Talks is because it is a conversation, but it's also us being able to appreciate where we are, and the behaviors, again, that distract us from our priorities. When you see that you didn't do something that you were supposed to do on time, it means that something else gets pushed to the side, which also means that when it comes down to that timeline or that clock running out, you're going to become desperate to finish it, which means that your accuracy is more than likely going to be off. If there is a variable that you didn't think about, something that could happen according to Murphy's Law, that will happen, you don't have a way to deal with it. And so it can quite possibly set you back. And then you begin to do things that are not reflective of who you are and your brand. And also, you didn't see far enough to be disciplined to do it. It shows a lack of vision for what you want to do and you want to complete. And so I would say that if you have an outline, a list of things that are your priority, continually looking at that list of priorities, mapping out, this is my priority because I want to go here. And because I want to go here, this must be done. And if I procrastinate on that, I may miss a very important window of time that I don't have access to. Being disciplined by writing your priorities out and then knowing that's what you want to do and that's where you want to go, it actually helps you. So I have I have it, believe it or not, I have it written on my refrigerator. I have one on my cell phone that I look at in terms of my notes when when I begin to fall off. I have a notebook, which is where I write these things that I want to, because I have to visualize the priority in order to keep it in the front of my mind so that I don't lose focus on what's important. Which is the next thing, create routines. Now, I've been falling off on my, well, so many places, believe it or not. I've been falling off on my meal prep, okay? I'll use meal prep, for example. The reason why I meal prep is twofold. One, well, maybe threefold. One, I spend less money. When I don't meal prep, not only do I spend more money, but I also have to add an additional something into my day so that I can get food. So that means that instead of working on something or instead of just enjoying downtime, I am in the car trying to find a restaurant to get something to eat from, or I am on Craven spending my money because it's convenient, or I am thinking I'm spending time trying to figure out what do I want to eat. I find that when I meal prep, I don't have to think about what I want to eat because it's in the fridge. I'm going to eat it. And that may not work for everybody. But when I think about my priorities, which happen to be saving money as well as being more productive, meal prep as an example of that helps. And so the routine of meal prepping, it takes the thought out of me having to eat or having to look for food or having to find food, which is, to some degree a distraction. And I need y'all to understand it in the context in which I'm saying it. I'm saying going to the restaurant and eating food is a distraction. I'm simply saying on occasions when I don't meal prep, especially on busy weeks, I add an additional task which can be distracting to the list of things that I need to do, which slows me down. Also, the routine streamlines your energy and your effort. My niece was here the day before yesterday. She came in on this Sunday, and I love her. I love her very, very much. But I know some of you, if you are parents, you can relate. Okay. Sis comes in, I make sure that she's fed, and then she's here from 4 o'clock on the Sunday afternoon. I live in a high traffic area. High traffic. There are at least 4 schools in the immediate area. Okay, everyone? 4. And I have my clothes on and we're getting ready. And the routine is we leave at 7:45 so we don't get in that bottleneck, right? I getting ready to walk out the door. And I said to her, you have 10 minutes. Sis says to me, oh, I need to iron my shirt. Y'all, I had to take a deep breath in because what you mean you need to iron your shirt? You been here from 4 o'clock on Sunday. It's 7:45 on Monday morning. What you mean? What you mean? And this one of them stiff cotton shirts that requires you to steam iron it with starch. What you mean you need to iron your shirt, sis? So some of you may not believe me, but some of y'all see, you see the meme, right? Right. Like those of y'all who have children, y'all understand what you mean. I threatened that she would have to go to school with the shirt mash up. But listen, yes, Candiria, it could wrinkle right up. But I still got the ironing board and the iron and I filled it with water and I set it up and I said, you have 3 minutes to get these wrinkles because she's still my niece. You can't go like that. But man, y'all don't play in my face because I am a woman. One of my regular tasks is on days when I do my laundry, I iron everything at the same time. And granted, it's just the things that need to iron because y'all know we live in the age where we ain't trying to iron no clothes. If it have to iron, then more than likely it go into the bottom of the hamper. But there are just some nice pieces like your linen pieces and your cotton pieces that need to be ironed. Your jackets, your blazers that you just run the iron over them just to make sure the collar stayed on just well enough. But in between my laundry, I iron the clothes that needs to be ironed and I put everything away. That way, I don't have to stop on a busy morning and try to figure out what am I going to wear. In addition to that, I have a capsule of clothing that I have on rotation for work because I'm not trying to think about what I'm going to wear when I get to work. And I know this may seem pedantic. I know it may seem simple, but I think some of the reasons why we feel like we can't get anything done, specifically in the morning or in our transitionary period, is because we overlook these small tasks that add 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes there to our time. Take out the ironing board, pull out the well, some of y'all just leave it out, but just go with me. Pull the clothes out, iron, put the things away, figure it out. Oh, I feel fat today, so I can't wear this because it just ain't buttoning the way it's supposed to button. Find something else, pull it out. Like you add into your mental load unintentionally, when you do things like this. But also, and the last thing is it makes deviations more manageable. If I know that I am going to the gym first thing in the morning, and then from then I'm coming home, I'm going to do my devotions while I am in the process of getting ready for work. And then I am going to grab my protein smoothie out of the fridge. I'm going to grab my lunch out of the fridge, put them in the bag, and put everything into the car. I can be in and out of the house within an hour or 45 minutes of coming from the gym. It's because I have routines set. But sometimes things happen. For example, on Monday morning, we didn't have any water running inside. Something happened with the water pump, so we had to get the bucket. And I know that may seem like TMI, but that is a deviation that made things that could have made things more difficult to manage. And those things happen, and it can add to the frustration or the mental load of the day. But having a set routine helps you to manage those expectations for your time. Okay. And that's also true for when it comes down to your business. The next thing I want you to know is that you need to be realistic about your time constraints. Let me say this. You need to know how much time a task takes, okay? Or how much time tasks, plural, take. I say that because sometimes we overlook the simplicity of a task or the complexity of a task, and we don't understand that a task that seems simple can take about 20 to 30 minutes, especially if it's not something that you are very capable of, okay? If it's not something that you are highly skilled at. And even some things that you are highly skilled at requires a lot of time. If it's something that you are unfamiliar with, it can require a lot of time. In the office, I have come to find that a lot, okay, I want to phrase this correctly. And I know many of you can relate. If you work in a space where people believe that things just magically appear out of thin air, just send me an emoji reaction. If you work in a place where people think that you are able to just bring things to life in little to no time, or if you work in a space where you are so gifted and talented that you make it look easy, so people believe that they can, hey, Ruckus, people believe that they can come to you last minute and demand something from you to churn out in a quarter of the amount of time that it actually takes. Okay? I'm seeing you all respond in the chat because that's the truth. When I first started in my new position, people were well, let me focus on the point I'm making because I was about to go all the way down. But I had to say to people, because we had a culture, Kimberly, don't make me laugh. Kimberly says, those people are called my husbands and kids. Okay, say husbands. Wow, husband or kids. And yes, everything is urgent or priority. So when I started my new position, it's a few things that I had to do. They were very accustomed to, I say jump, but you halfway in the air the second I say jump. And I had to say to them, first of all, no. First of all, no. And I said it through my supervisor to some degree. Secondly, doing this at this quality requires this amount of time. It also requires these specific tools. If I don't have these tools, then it means that I'm going to have to find additional ways to find or to be able to complete it. So either you provide me the tools and I'm able to provide it in this relative amount of time, or you don't provide me the tools and then you're going to delay the delivery of something. Well, Ruckus, I have to say it nice because I work for government. I can't say things with expletives, but it's also because with relationship building, you can't just say the things that come off the top of your mouth, off the top of your head. So you have to be very diplomatic. So yes, people demand things of you, and this is where I'm going to encourage you. Advocate for yourself, okay? I understand that people use your access to them and the work that they provide you as a way of manipulating and controlling you because they know you want the work, they know you want the money, they know you want the opportunity. But let me just say for the record, I am a testament to the fact that if you stand 10 toes down on your standard, which is basically this level of work requires this particular amount of time, lead time, you're going to find that not only do the people that you work with respect you more, but they also don't try you as often. Unless, of course, it's something that is really, really necessarily urgent. But we're not trying to have people monopolize our time and distract us by demanding things faster than we can churn them out given the resources that are available. Communicate clearly that task takes time. And then the next thing is to keep the processes simple. Don't try new things on a time crunch. So I'm going to be honest. I can be very honest. I was going to pull up the StreamYard. I was going to pull up the Ecamm and the StreamYard, and then I was going to put up all the lower thirds, and then I was going to have the things on the screen. And then I looked at the task list. I looked at the work I needed to do for BTC, and I looked at the work that I needed to do for John Bull this month. And then I looked at the community service work I needed to do, as well as the online course that I'm taking in project management, and then some of the other things and deliverables I had. And I said, Bodine, you ain't gonna have enough time for all of this. You ain't gonna have enough time to do a tech run, for all. Come on, pull it back, Bodine, pull it back, because I extra. Shana, let me tell you something. I's a beast in these broadcasting streets, okay? And I was going to do it by myself because I can. But I had to remind myself to keep the process of this live stream extremely simple. Sometimes we want to do exceedingly, abundantly, beyond I could ever dream and imagine. We want to do the extra. We want to do the amazing, but we simply do not have the time. When you know your purpose and the things that you are skilled at, you're able to do them with your eyes closed. And that is something that is very important when you are on a time crunch. No, I will not use a different template from the one I have developed when I know I only have 30 minutes to get this task done today. I will use the template because the template has the guide questions. I notice, like the back of my hand. I notice like the number of locks on my head. It's not going to add any frustration to me. And so I'm going to do this particular thing until I have a break in the schedule to add something else to it or to learn something more. Do not, y'all, please do not try to complicate the process, okay? If you know it's going to require thoughts or there's the high probability of something going wrong, leave it alone, especially if it's extremely important. We want to be super people, and we are super people to some extent, but I want us to be smart super people, okay? And the last one, in terms of being realistic about time constraints, is always give yourself a buffer period when possible. In project management, we have buffer time. That buffer time gives us space just in case, again, Murphy's Law starts to go into effect. That means that I will tack on maybe like 1 or 2 days to a timeline so that I'm able to get something done. Or in the case of a client, the client says to me, hey, we want this done by this particular date, and we're gonna need this particular date. I am not going to finish that client work on that particular day. Do you understand how stressful it is when the videographer does not show up? And your contract is you're going to have a third person perspective, which is you are, or the person is they are a spectator in something that's happening on behalf of the client, and you can't deliver it on time, that means I can't collect the balance of my check because I miss a deadline. No, 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 no. Give yourself 2 or 3 days in terms of a buffer so that you can handle emergencies, you can handle variables, you can handle things that come up at the very last minute. All right. The next thing is identify your distractions. Y'all want me to tell you, y'all want me to tell you what a distraction looks like? Me working on a project, and I have 3 things that I'm working on concurrently. And somebody else comes to me with an opportunity that looks like it's going to be good. It could be either at my price point or it could be above my price point, but it ain't in alignment with my purpose, right? If I take this on, I'm going to be stretched beyond stretched. In addition to it, I'm barely holding on to what I need to do and maintaining my good balance of a personal life. If I take that on, that is a distraction. Can anybody tell me why it's a distraction? The money, good. I could do it. I most certainly can do it well, but it's a distraction. Yes, Jonelle, it's not in alignment with the purpose, but there's another reason as well. What else does it do? It takes away time from the things that are your priority, and it also stretches you beyond the limits of what your capacity could take at any given time. And so that's what it looks like. It also looks like that coworker that walks in and say, hey, I want you to help me on this project. You know, I know you're good at this, you're good at that, but I need this particular thing done and we don't have enough people. Yeah, I want to be willing to help you, and I am willing to help you. But the 3 things that I have on my desk now are the priority. I can't assist you, but some of us like be so good Samaritan. We like helping other people that we would put our work on the side to assist somebody else. That's a distraction. Kimberly. Kimberly, I know I'm in the mash nobody con. I really ain't in the mash nobody con. Like, this is not a grit session, but I being dead serious. Sometimes our distraction comes in the it comes in the form, of people roping you into projects and circumstances and situations and meetings that really don't have nothing to do with you. In addition to that, it's a time trap. A time trap is anything. I could be a little gentler. I could be gentler. A time trap is anything that is distracting. Georgia, I'm sorry. It's anything that is distracting. It's anything. It's anything that is distracting. My time trap is scrolling on social media and saying I'm doing research to find sounds for reels. That's my time trap. I'm being very honest and very clear. That's my time trap. My time trap sometimes can be that extra hour I spend in the gym just because I enjoy their company, right? And I really love it there, to be honest. Yeah, Candiria, TikTok, yeah, TikTok it's have us on the ropes. It is have us on the ropes. And it's because I justify it by saying, you know what, I work in social media, I need to know what the trends are. And so my time trap is like that. Or believe it or not, believe it or not, sometimes my ADHD tendency makes me pick up another hobby. Oh, I enjoy doing this. Like, let me do macrame right now. No, Bodine, you cannot do macrame right now. You have 4 things due within the next couple of days, and they require a particular amount of work. So you have to be mindful of the time traps. Arrest, manage, and then you have to eliminate them. That means that you have to set systems in place. Instagram, one of my mentees which is a story for a different time because I don't even know when I got a mentee, but apparently I have mentees now, multiple. And I was like, wow. But one of my mentees, she said, sorry, my Instagram cut off because I have a timer that says I can only use it for 45 minutes during the day. I ain't gonna lie. 45 minutes a day for Instagram, that's a drought for me, but I understand. Hi. Hi, Alex. You seem to be doing extremely well. So yeah, you have to look at the things that are taking your time. And so knowing that you are able to cut down and eliminate those things that are really, really trying to mess with your productivity, okay? But also, believe it or not, another time trap, and I'm going to be extremely honest. I found that another time trap that I have is social outings. Now, the joke is for anybody on social media, it looks like I outside all the time. It looks like I outside all the time. But the people who know me know Bodine come in. Bodine is going to be there for an hour, maybe in an hour and a half, because an hour and a half actually translates into 2.5 to 3 hours in my time, because that's commute time. And then, well, that's getting ready time, commute time, socialization time, and then commute back home time. And yeah, people don't understand that. And so there are some days when I can do 5 or 6 things at a time because I have to limit the amount of time that I spend. I say 5 or 6. That's an exaggeration, but boy. Okay, Ants, we're gonna refer to that. You say your time trap is constantly learning and perfecting and never executing. Okay, so I'm gonna stick a pin right there. I'm going to stick a pin right there. So we'll come back to that because that's a function of procrastination, but it's also rooted in the belief that it's not good enough. So we're going to talk about that. Okay. Yes, Shanna, I see you. I got you. We can talk about that. So I'm saying to you that on days when I know I have things to do, I communicate to the people that either want to hire me or the people that are expecting me to be around. Hey, this is a speaking engagement. I only have 1 hour. So please, if you can, put me at this point in the program and then advise me if you are running behind so I know how to manage my time. Because sometimes just being in certain spaces can lead into time trap activity because you are there longer than you need to be when you have other things that are also a priority. The last thing on the slide is remove the non-essential tasks, especially those that belong to other people, which could be interpreted a few ways, right? The first of which is I am a single woman with no children, no boyfriend, no husband. I ain't dating nobody right now. Like my WhatsApp's dry, my DMs outside of, the really weird guys who ain't into nothing, it dry. Like some people don't believe it, but it dry. So I know that I'm able to speak from a completely different level of, I want to call single girl privilege, which is different from those of you who have children, you have significant others, you have husbands or wives, for those of you who are men here. What I want to say is I have learned as a person that does not like designing graphics. My time trap is, like many of you have said, trying to perfect a graphic. I've learned that if I set it to keep things extremely simple, 3 colors, 2 fonts, clear, high contrast, I find that I spend less time meddling with trying to make sure things are perfect. But there are things that I need a graphic designer for. And so I send that task over to the graphic designer or somebody that I can give a few dollars to that generally works in their purpose and that's able to do that. That the graphic itself is essential, but it ain't so essential as the content being put out. And I'm hoping that makes sense. And so if there are things that are not necessarily as important as you generating the content and then placing the content out in a way that is simple, accessible, and easy. I'm really going to tell you whatever the content, the product, whatever it is, if it ain't essential, if that extra emoji ain't necessary, leave it out. If that additional photo shoot does not add any value to what you are creating, leave it out. Just on the weekend, Bodine went to one of my client stores and I spent maybe like an hour just looking at things. And then I said, oh, I need this and I needed this and I need that. And then when I sat down to edit, I realized that I spent 2 extra hours on something that I couldn't even use. And so it complicated my editing process and it had me so frustrated. And then I looked at it and I said, yeah, Bodine, it's because you did this, this, and this when all you needed was A, B, and C. You did E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and you can't even use it. So you wasted your time, which is wasting resources and wasting money. I still waste my time from time to time. I just very much kettle calling the pot black. Okay. So remove those non-essential tasks. Now, let's talk about our tools. Know which tools work for you. My tools, had to, go back here. So first thing, the meme is going around, baby. If it ain't in this is my actual calendar that I keep inside my purse. If it ain't in this book, it don't exist. It does not exist, okay? This is a tool for me because I open it and I can see all of the things that I need to do at a glance. But sitting down to write in this makes me most mindful of the things that I need to do. That's the first thing. The second thing is I do have a bigger planner. I got this from Get Paper Clutched or Paper Clutch Gifts. This is Tazina. And so I make an assessment of the things that worked, the things that didn't work, the things that I feel motivated by, because tracking progress and seeing what I have accomplished helps me to understand how I used my time. And there are digital versions of it, of course. Some people use Plannerly. Some people would use other online management software. When I have a task that I need to complete or a big project that I'm working on, I use Asana. Asana gives me a visual, ASANA, it gives me a visual representation of the calendar, the tasks I need to complete, when I need to complete them by, the people or the stakeholders that I need to engage and when I need to engage them by, and I tick them off. So everything is all in one place. For inspiration, for online apps, you can also use Milanote. And then for those people that really just need to see the agenda and the things that you need to do, set the alarm in your Google Calendar or your iCalendar or your Microsoft Calendar. Honestly and truly, it may seem simple, but I am telling you, when you are intentional about making that time, which, okay, great, I segued into the second point, be intentional with your planning time so you set a schedule and stick with it. The biggest issue with time management happens to be discipline. Okay. And we tend to think discipline is cutting somebody's skin. No, discipline is knowing what needs to be done and being intentional about getting it done. When you sit down and you write in the planner or you have the agenda and the agenda says, this is what I need to do and this is the time that I need to do it, you can physically see, no, I don't have the time to be scrolling on social media. No, I don't have the time to be playing with this graphic 500 million times. Okay. No, I don't have the time to sit on the phone and talk to this boy because it's distracting me. And so it gives you an idea of where your pockets of time are. It gives you an idea of which resources are available and what time you need to get them in. And it gives you a better idea and appreciation for how you manage yourself. So you want to set a schedule and you want to stick with it as far as possible. So after you set out your routines, my morning routine, gym, prayer and devotions while I get ready for work, grab my lunch, and head out. Okay? Get to work. Everybody knows don't fool with Bodine in the first 30 minutes of the day because I am checking my emails and I'm sending the responses out. I am looking over the agenda or I'm reviewing notes for proposals or meetings that I need to attend consistently. Like they know that's the 30 minutes. That 30 minutes, they know leave Bodine alone. From there, the rest of the day, I deal with that. What I also haven't placed in here is as somebody that works for the Ministry of Education, I went from being a teacher with Easter break off, summers, which would anywhere between 6 weeks to 8 weeks off, Christmas breaks off, Saturday, Sunday off at 3:15, back to work at 8:45. And I was a beast when we was going through the pandemic because I managed my online class so well that outside of when I had to mark essays individually, I had more time because I understood what I needed to do a lot better. I had 100 children in a classroom all at once, and they got their grades back nearly immediately or within a week of me being able to assign it, return it, and provide feedback. Okay. But then I transitioned into being an education officer. I have 25 working days of vacation. I have Saturdays and Sunday off. I have a 1 hour lunch break, which consists of a 15-minute coffee break and a 45-minute lunch break, not to exceed 1 hour in aggregate. That's according to our contract. So some days, depending on the number of tasks I need to complete for that day, it means I can't stay at the gym until 7 o'clock. I have to leave the gym at 6:30, get home so that I can be dressed and ready for 7:30 to be in the office by 8 a.m. because I may have something to do for BTC, which means that I have to account for 15 minutes to travel from one location, give them the hour, and then 15 minutes to travel back. Showing up at 8 a.m. means that I have given the government their time and I still have a 30-minute buffer in the event that something goes wrong because that hour is my personal time. It means that I have to use my government payday hours wisely. It means I cannot overbook clients for the 25 days that I have for vacation days. But it also means that if you need me on a government day, I have to apply for a vacation day to use that day to accommodate you. I can't pick up ethically and go to do something personal while I on the government time because I am a strict proponent of render to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's. Okay? I don't get it perfect every single time, but I want to tell you how you manage your personal time is very, very important in being able to achieve the goals that you want to reach. Some of us take for granted our lunch hour. Lunch and learn. Okay? Lunch and bank. All right? I'm taking a project management course now. That course requires 6 hours out of the week. And some of the terminology I am not familiar with. And so each day I have to carve out 45 minutes of the day. So that's 15 minutes here to watch the 3 videos and to take the notes, and then another 15 minutes when I need a mental break from something else to do something else. And so I find that being able to do that, it's very, very helpful. When I'm at the gym, for example, if there's a lecture that I need to listen to, I want to listen to some really good gospel trap music or some trap music to keep me hype and motivated. But I understand that hour and a half or that 30 to 45 minutes when I'm stretching, that's prime time for me to intake information. Okay. You don't have to do it that way. It's just that I'm able to stack particular things on top of one another so that I can utilize the time I have available so much better. And it also gives me a better access to my social life. People think I may not have a social life. No, I'm not going on dates, but I do go out or I do have small groups of people that I see and I'm accountable to. And that accountability is in two ways. Bodine, are you eating? Are you sleeping? What do you have to do? We haven't seen you enough. What tasks are you involved in? When are we going to see you again? And believe it or not, knowing that I have social groups of people that I have to be accountable to because I have to invest in my family and my friends. It may not be 5 hours, it may not be 6 hours, but I know I need to invest in them. It means that I have to do work so that I can make time to spend with them. Godchildren, nieces, nephews, family members, sisters, brothers. As you move to different stages in your adult life, things are going to change. But I can tell you, people remember that you made time for them. Small children and, children growing up, they remember that you made time for them. And it's something that I had struggled with in the past, but I'm doing much better now. Okay. So engage your accountability partners. I'm just going to go back just a second. I would like for, if you have any questions in the chat, you can let me know. You can let me know if you have any questions, or if you want to ask me a question, you can raise your hand and I'd be very happy to answer those questions, right now, simply because, again, I've been talking for almost an hour, but this is most certainly a conversation and you can ask me just about anything and I'm going to answer extremely transparently. So I'm going to open the microphones so that I can hear from you. Okay, Ants, go ahead. Ooh, wow. Okay, so let me just scroll up here so I could see this. Okay, so, all right, and then Nelson, I'm going to come to you in just a second. Let me just scroll up. My computer is touchscreen, but the touchscreen is not touch screening at the moment. Okay, so let me take a look at this. Do you find that knowing your general purpose makes it possible for you to operate in all your skills and titles? Some would advise to niche down as a time management strategy. So that's a great question. I'm going to answer the first part. Knowing my knowing my general purpose, yes, it makes operating in my skills and my titles a lot easier. The thing is, because I have, at different stages in my life, certain areas of my skills have taken priority. Specifically during the pandemic. Well, let me provide a little bit of context. In terms of purpose, my life is like this. My mom was a typing teacher. Typing is a form of technology. Typing turned into computer technology. Computer technology was supplemented by my work at the radio station in broadcast, which was also supported by the work that I did while in the College of the Bahamas, where Verona Seymour was my English lecturer, which turned into an opportunity to write for national newspapers and articles that were published internationally, right? So in looking at the thread of purpose and skills that were developed in my life, I realized that the work that I'm able to do in each one of these functions are intertwined. As an educator, we went through the pandemic. The pandemic required us to broadcast lessons and perform interactive lessons with students nationwide and across the world. Therefore, my skills in radio and television production came in there. The ability to speak to other people came in while we are transitioning into influencer marketing and the influencer marketing, but also social media marketing, right? So my ability to speak and to write was also developed for such a time as this. So you find that you develop skills at different places in your life that assist with you finding your purpose. And in addition to working in your purpose, you're able to identify which tasks require your unique set of skills so that you can focus on it. And you will find that those skills end up building on one another as you continue to move through life. So it makes it easier. It allows you a space to train other people so that it's not just you using your skills for your own personal benefit as well, but for the benefit of the communities that are there. And so I am a everybody is different. And my friends always call me the exceptional learner, which was a different, they, they was trying to call me special in the way that we use the term special locally, but I do understand that it is a gift. So know your purpose. And then I want you to look at the list of things that you do extremely well. I want you to look at the pattern of your life. And I want you to see the things that not only are you drawn to, but the things that bring you joy, the traits and the skills that when you use them, other people benefit, but they also provide you with a feeling of fulfillment. And write them down and track them. And then I want you to intentionally say, how can I improve that? Which skills am I going to need to develop to move this to the next level? Okay. What access do I need? What areas or spaces do I need to be in to network to find people to either help me or to find people to help me upgrade those skills? And you're going to find that it's less of a niching down and more of a setting a priority focus on what is going to be most beneficial, not only to you, but the people that you call to serve. Okay. And your second part of the question, and if anybody has anything that you want to chime in with, you can let me know. But I'm going to scroll to the second part of the question now. Do you find operating in all your talents and skills manageable and worthwhile? So I found a rhythm. I found a rhythm in what I do. Okay. I realized that different seasons require different skills and different skill sets. And so I'm gonna put Ruckus's question into this. I do still perform music, okay? But I perform them in niche spaces based on what my clients want. But I am not currently in the season of providing new music. The season that I am in right now, apparently, as I am being instructed and led, is the season of using my influence and the platform that being an entertainer and being an educator provides me to educate and assist other people to reach their goals. Okay. I'm currently in a space where God is doing a special, he's been doing construction, and you're starting to see the belt course come to completion. And I don't know nothing about construction, but I know there's windows and doors, well, roofs, windows, doors, and electricity being added in different stages and spaces. And so you're going to see that I'm going to host more of these Titta Talks. You're going to see that I'm going to host more, not really host more of the Titta Talks per se, every week, but maybe monthly as I need to. There will be the Titta Talks. Yes, Nelson, I see you. No problem. And also you're going to see that the next one that I'm going to host is going to be a 1-hour talk on developing your personal brand. So you can actually put that there, developing your own personal brand, because that's what I'm going to be doing the next Titta Talk on. Also, I just want you to know that in terms of where I am, being able to give back and to be charitable in different ways is affording me the opportunity to learn and do more. I'm also in a learning space. Like I said, I'm doing a course on project management, but I'm also doing another course at the same time. And so it just makes it so much more intentional about my desire and will to assist small communities of people to become much better versions of themselves and to upskill in this particular way. This is where I'm being led. It's still making music, still performing music. I have a performance on the 28th of April at the Nassau Cruise Port, but it's a private performance. But yeah, I might even just do a little private show from time to time just to remind y'all that I just sing. But I also don't sing rake and scrape music proper. I perform music that is of a completely different merged genre that is very, very, very diverse. And so right now we in rake and scrape mode. And I'm so proud of the work of the young men and women that have now just really been on that rake and scrape run, because we do need more representation in that space. And so operating in my talents and my skills, especially depending on the season that I'm in, makes what I do more manageable. And I found that it makes me a lot more prosperous in one way or the other. Financially, yes, but also spiritually, yes. Working in purpose brings you a sense of fulfillment, and it makes you feel and be closer to God and the will that He has for your life. So yeah, there we go. Yes, Nelson, your hand is raised. Thank you so kindly, and then we'll have Candiria.
So he was actually doing that for Callie. Um, so my question was, because it's about time management in terms of job wise, because I heard what you said when you take a vacation day for a particular client who needs that day. So in terms of me, who has a remote position and be on the job, and I can be off the job as well, how, like, what's a good way for me to manage my time with doing that with clients?
Okay, well, I would say that, working remote as an entrepreneur does make it a lot more difficult. But I do realize that sometimes we prioritize the client's needs over our own personal needs. And so I would say, for you, Candiria, especially you as somebody that really has made my life significantly easier. Um, I would say the same way that you prioritize your clients' calls, you prioritize your personal time, because nobody's gonna do that really and truly for you. You're gonna literally have to block that time out, because it's the only option that you have.
Mm.
Yeah, like I understand that in my particular case, like I said, I work two jobs. And so whether I go to work or not, the
Okay.
joke about the public service is that that we don't get fired. We don't get fired. We could go missing and use our sick days and things like that. Which as an entrepreneur and somebody that works remote, yeah, you won't be able to do. But the same way you write in, this week I got to deal with this client, you send your clients, a message. I'm not going to be available from this time to this time. During this month, that's my time. And then, block out those hours. Block out those hours. Be intentional about those hours that you block out on your, what do you call it, on your agenda, on your digital calendar. Make yourself your client too. Okay. Was that helpful?
Very, especially the part when you said make myself the client. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, you're gonna have to. You most certainly going to have to, because it just makes it, sometimes we don't think about ourselves enough to manage our time in a way where we feel fulfillment and we can remain happy. And that for me is one of the things that I had to learn. Transitioning from being in the classroom to being in management, at the lower end of management, it made it extremely difficult. And to be honest, last year, and this is a bit of my personal information, but that's fine. It's a Titta Talk. Last year I think it was in August. No, not August. It was in June. Last year in June, I was so busy that I did not know, between my personal work, I had exhausted all of my vacation days plus 3 days into this year. And so they were going to cut my salary to compensate for those 3 vacation days into this year. And so after June of last year, I was not able to take vacation days. Thankfully, I still had casual days for when I needed to rest, but I mismanaged my time in such a way that I lost sight of the time that was available to me and ended up in a position where I just wasn't able to if I wanted to take like 3 or 4 days to myself, I had to wait until a holiday and then book a casual day for the Friday, sorry, for the Thursday, holiday Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then Monday casual day, just so I could have an extended period of time just to rest. And even then I didn't do it. And that kind of sparked a higher awareness of one, self-care, because that's important. You have to make time for yourself. And two, um, being specific with my clients about the amount of time that's available to them. So this year I said, I'm going to manage my time in such a way that I go to the gym consistently, which required me to choose a gym or a trainer that I enjoyed. And I do that. I said, I'm going to join a church this year because I need to invest time in my spiritual life. And I found one online that I truly enjoy. And so on a Sunday at a particular time, um, when I say I gotta go to church, I mean I go in straight to my front room to sit in the couch with my book and my Bible and the TV on. And everybody knows Bodine is not scheduling anything for that time because that's my spiritual time. Yes. All right. In addition to that, I, I learned that I'm not taking on anything that's not within my portfolio at work. And so when they try to toss it at me, I refer to my job description. And sometimes we're afraid to do that. And I say, listen, this is not within my remit, but there's another officer whose remit this falls under. And I just, I send that back to where it needs to go, or I redirect that, because I just cannot take on projects that are not within my portfolio. We're all getting paid for a job, and so we need to operate in that job. Not that I wouldn't lend assistance if I can, but most times I'm not able to because I am the only officer in my area, and being the only officer means that I need to steward myself and my time well enough to be effective, okay? So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end. Well, we're about 15 minutes over. And, I think that in terms of time, I did pretty well. You could let me know. For those of you who are interested in supporting me in one way or the other, this is how you can support me, because I'm not asking for any money, but you can support my partnership with BTC. When you see that I'm going to be somewhere, you could just show up, pop up, let them know. And thank you, Ants. No problem. It's really my pleasure. You can use my code @JohnBull. Go to my timeline, go to my stories. I am a John Bull influencer. So if you are shopping for the significant other birthday, parents, Mother's Day is coming up, please be sure to use my QR code when you go to shop so they know that it's me who influenced you to go and shop. Share and purchase my music. Recommend me to some of your friends, family members, corporate clients specifically. Interact with my content. Those likes and those shares and those comments, they go a long way. And then send a review via email. I know most of us, we don't like the email, but please send a review to my email, book@BodineVictoria.com. I use my email as one of my routines. I use my emails as one of my routines because it's easily searchable. I don't get distracted, but also I can keep it significantly longer. So if you enjoyed this, please let me know. And next time we will be talking about developing your own personal brand. Okay. So, and on the 24th of April, I have a talk called the Rich Root webinar with my investment advisor, Tashria Johnson. We are going to be, well, I'm hosting it, but we're going to be discussing getting your 18 to 35-year-olds into the process of investing. I have recently become an investor. And so instead of just gifting myself jewelry, I now gift myself investments. So I've added to my investment portfolio as a 41-year-old woman who is correcting my financial mistakes and who is learning how to develop wealth, I think that the information is important to be shared. And I want you to continue to watch the journey, but also know that not only can you become an investor, but you could set up wealth for your children and generations. So those are the church announcements. I want to say thank you all so very, very much for joining me tonight. I am so humbled by the fact that y'all stayed here. Y'all stayed here the entire hour. You participated. You gave extremely good feedback. And I want you to know that, I have a whole lot of love for y'all for all that you do. And it has been my pleasure. And I'm going to leave you with this thought. I am more than what you see, more than what you know. There is more inside of me. Okay, Ruckus and Potmans. Everybody, please have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for joining me for my very first Titta Talks. Bodine for culture, for community. Y'all have a great evening. Oh, screenshot and then send it up and tag me on y'all Instagram, please. Thanks.